Paragon is one of the most exciting specs this expansion. It comes from Guild Wars 1, so there's a lot of nostalgia behind it. And the Paladin fantasy has always been something super cool that people have wanted in Guild Wars 2. And it's definitely meeting it. Huge wings that come out of your back, huge shouts that empower your allies and destroy your enemies, while also finally giving us a healer warrior that heals us by shouting at us. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. But even though all of the class looks awesome in terms of mechanics, with the beautiful echoes and motivation and chants, some of the traits are not that very good. I have zero doubt that Paragon will end up being great, but there is a lot that needs to be fixed. So in this video, we're going to go through exactly all that needs to be fixed, everything that is good about it, and really go deep into what Paragon is and isn't. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning, and let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about the profession skills. Because yeah, there's a lot to be worried about this spec, but the profession skills is definitely not one of them. The way that chants work is very simple. So, you have your warrior, and the warrior usually uses adrenaline to use their F1, their adrenaline attack. They're spending with that. Now, every one of the chants will also consume your motivation, not only your burst, which is very interesting. I wasn't really sure about this before they actually talked about it in the stream. And every time you actually use one of these skills, you spend adrenaline with one of these bursts, boom, you're gonna get yourself some motivation, the little number on the right there. Now, depending on the amount of motivation you have when you use the skill, you get different effects. You can see, for example, here on all of them, you have 1 to 3 motivation, certain spells, certain effects, then 4 to 6, another one, and then 7 to 10, another one. Now, the thing is that after you activate it, it will continuously give you the same buffs, but it will consume motivation every 3 seconds. You can see this here in the stream every 3 seconds. The effect will trigger and 1 motivation will be consumed. That being said, you cannot have 3 chants happening at the same time. You cannot be consuming motivation to trigger all at the same time. As soon as you activate another one, the refrain, the consummation? Yeah, sure. Consummation of each of the motivations will happen only in that last chant. So you cannot give Might, Fury, and the resistance and the healing and the swiftness and stability. You can only choose one. I also thought that the F1, your normal adrenaline skill would actually give you motivation, but on the stream it doesn't do it. That's not what I said in the stream, so I'm guessing it's some sort of bug, but I'm not quite sure. Now, all of the chants are pretty powerful. The first one is Chant of Action. This will give Might and Fury depending on the amount of motivation you give. You have when you actually use this, and it will keep pulsing it. 1 stack of Might will win 1 and 3 motivation, 2 stacks of Might plus Fury in 4 to 6, and 7 to 10 motivation, 3 Mights of stack and 1 on Fury. Now you can see here initial Fury and initial Might. What does this mean? This means that this is the amount that you get regardless of the motivation you have when you cast it for the first time. What we saw before was obviously the amount of boons that you get every interval. This one instead is just, hey, you activate it, you'll get this. Now for the next one is going to be Chant of Recuperation. Grants barriers to allies in an area around you. So as you can see here in the bottom, the barrier is going to be 980, and this is the amount that you're going to give initially. After that, the refrain, every 3 seconds, it'll be healing, a little more healing from 4 to 6 motivation, and resistance and healing from 7 to 10 motivation. It will also cost you 2 motivation this time instead of the 1 that we talked about before. And this will apply for all of these motivations as well. All of these levels. Level 3, Chant of Freedom, breaks stun from allies in an area around you. AoE stun break? That's pretty good. And the refrain, it will give you swiftness in level 1, swiftness and resolution in level 2, and swiftness, resolution, and stability in level 3. And, well, obviously, we'll keep pulsing this. Pulsing stability like this every 3 seconds, that's pretty good. Plus a stun break when you first cast it, yeah, it's pretty nice. I will say though, I don't think these gens are that powerful. I feel like, you know, if you go back to the Harbinger Rich List video that we talked about before, the amount of boons that everything would give you would be insane. And here it's just pretty tame. I think Chant of Freedom is very powerful, right? Like, pulsing stability, swiftness, resolution, pretty good. An AoE stun break, great. But Chant of Action, you know, is supposed to be offensive one here. Doesn't even do damage, right? I feel like it should be applies boons to allies in areas around you and also do some damage or some CC or something, you know what I mean? Chant of Recuperation, it's nice that it gives you barrier. It's nice that it gives you healing, but maybe some Condi removal. I don't know. Resistance also, I feel like it should be in the Chance of Freedom, so it's, you know, you not only your stun breaking, but also can remove your immobilization or whatever. Feels a little bit weird to have it here. And also level 3. I don't know. I feel like it's the way that the boons are here are a little bit weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I will say though, the animations of each of these chants are pretty cool. Yeah, it's just a circle that pulses, but I really like the firebrandy texture effect on the bottom. It's very, very cool. And it really gives me that, oh, I'm a mage, I'm a holy warrior RP with it. I also think that the mechanic is super, super interesting, and there's a lot more to it that we haven't gotten there yet because of the traits and everything, but the whole, like, chant, the whole refrain and motivation building, it's just very exciting. Very, you know, hey, press the buttons very fast to get all the effects, while at the same time keep track of what's happening and what you're pulsing to not replace it with something you don't want. I really, really like this. The next thing, of course, is the utility skills. And these ones are just, you know, look, they're shouts, but they're better, okay? They're commands. And they can echo. And this is a new mechanic that Paragon only has that will be working with your chants. First, it's the command. You just, you know, do something. You press the button, something happens. For example, we shall return, heal yourself and allies in an area around you. But then you have the echo. Heals again and removes conditions on allies after a set interval or after use a burst skill. The interval is 3 seconds. So this works in the exact same way that the chants work. After 3 seconds, something happens. But in this case, you can actually make it happen before. If you use one of your burst skills or your chants, the effect that we just talked about will happen instantly. So you can just wait for the effect to happen by itself or press a button very, very fast in order to get that going. It's a very cool interaction here that you can use for your advantage, and I really like it. I do think maybe we should have like a little bit of a difference, right? Like maybe if you just wait for the 3 seconds, the effect is like bigger. But if you use it very fast by using the chance, maybe something else happens, or maybe it's worse. I don't know. Like some sort of like difference thing here would be super, super interesting, I think. We shall return. Pretty obvious heal skill. Just, hey, you know, you heal yourself and your allies and you remove conditions. Pretty typical. Find their weakness, strike and apply vulnerability to enemies around you. Very offensive one, right? You do a little bit of damage too. And the echo, apply might to allies based on the number of enemies struck after a set interval or after using a burst skill. You apply more might. Boom. Never surrender, breaks stuns and gains boons. You gave resistance and resolution. The cooldown of the skill is increased if used to break a stun. I really, really love this. This is not something we've seen before. I really think a lot of other abilities from other classes should work this way. So you can actually use it as a boon resource ability. But then if you want to use it as a stun break, you get more cooldown because you used it at its full potential. This way, you can have very lower cooldown abilities that also have a stun break, but only get the big stun break cooldown when you actually use that part of the ability. I think there's a very, very cool way of balancing things. And then the echo is just you give it to your allies. Do you give all this boons to your allies? Not the most crazy effect, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this is I don't know. In most classes, I feel like you just give all the boons to everyone else, and you know the echo wouldn't be like I don't know. I found that a bit weird. I found this a little bit weird. Brace yourselves. Apply barrier to yourself and allies around you. See, everything just in command to your allies as well. And then the echo, apply barrier again to allies after a set interval. So that's actually interesting. You give barrier to yourself and everyone, but you do it again just to your allies afterwards. It's like double barrier, just a few seconds after. So you can use this in a very interesting way, especially in PvP and War vs. World, I think. Be like, oh, I'm using this amount of barrier. Okay, you're going through it. Well, it's happening again. And you can use this in any time between the 0 seconds and the 3 seconds by using another chant if you really want to, and kind of play with your opponent. on your knees, damage and apply cripple to enemies around you. And then the echo, damage and apply weakness. Pretty straightforward. I think, honestly, all of these ones are just kind of like, they're not the best utility. They're like, okay, I'm not sure what we're going for this amount of damage echoes if we don't really have a lot of support with damage overall, even in the chance, and we're gonna see later in the traits. But I don't know, I feel like all these utilities probably should have a little bit more to them to make them competitive. It feels like this is just Warrior from 2012 on current year, which is, you know, everything. It gives everyone, every condition, all the damage, all the healing, you know. It's, I don't know, it's like it's a little bit more here, you know. The mechanic is pretty cool though. That's pretty cool. That being said, this effect right here, the elite, this one is super powerful and super interesting. Your health cannot be reduced below 0 for a short period of time. After this effect ends, gain barrier proportionate to your missing health. This is super cool. So you become immortal, right? You cannot die, and after that effect ends, you get a lot of barrier. So you cannot get like memed by just 1 damage because you have no healing or whatever, right? This is a very, very powerful effect. Not as powerful as the effect from Distortion, AoE Distortion, but pretty similar, actually. You're still going to be able to be stunned, feared, all this other stuff, but at least you'll be immortal. It's not a bad effect at all. And it looks pretty awesome. The animation is pretty awesome. That being said, I do find it a bit weird that the wings don't really last for the entirety of the effect. They just cast it one time and then just disappear. I really don't like that at all. The echo will just make it so this happens to your allies. It'll happen 3 seconds after. So if you want this to happen instantly to your allies, you're gonna have to press one of the chants so it happens to you and your allies. This is an interesting interaction. I think it's not bad actually, because maybe you want it for yourself one time and then not for your allies, and then you can give the buff to your allies afterwards. I think it's actually a very good interaction. But I really hope that they keep those wings for a longer time through the entirety of the effect, as it is indeed the important part of Paragon. It feels kind of weird that you just don't have the wings and you have them for like 1 second while you're casting and that's it. The other animations for the utilities are just shouts, as you can see right there, with little yellow waves coming in. I don't think I hate them, but I definitely think they could be a little bit more involved, especially with the symbols in the bottom. They could have more about that, but they're fine. Also, the icons look absolutely beautiful, I think. I mean, look at those beautiful icons over there, guys. Those are so detailed and awesome. Now let's go for the traits, and this one's oh man. I love Paragon, guys, despite of these following traits. Minor trait number 1, the ones that you get just by existing. Gain motivation when you use your 4th or 5th weapon skills. Alright. This is a super interesting trait. It kind of forces you to have, I guess, very fast cooldown 4th and 5th skills. So really think about the type of weapon you want on your 4 and 5. I do find it cool though. I think it's an interesting way of not forcing you to use certain weapons, but getting benefited from ones and not others. Back in the day, we were forced of certain weapons because of interaction with the traits, because certain weapons would only work on certain specs. That's no longer the case. So this is an interesting way to still have like a little bit of a push for one weapon, but not say, use that one, you know, which I found very interesting. For example, you know, pistol on a warrior probably is going to be very good because you're going to be able to use this ones one after the other. Maybe mace as well, as indeed you do your 4, then you do your 5, and then your 4 goes off cooldown. And obviously your warhorn, as indeed these 2 will give conditions, barrier, quickness. These are very good. Barrier, right? These are very good for support. Then maybe they can make a build for DPS with spears, okay? So you can actually use the spear in Paragon, which is kind of their thing, right? And the second mana trait, strike and condition damage down to you is reduced for each point of motivation you have. Pretty cool. That's a lot of damage reduction, and a very interesting way of dealing with, like, oh, maybe I don't want to use my motivation. Why? Maybe I want to keep it to become immortal, to have around, what is it, 20% damage reduction? That's pretty good. Now, you know my videos, guys. I usually go and get a different color for different builds, particularly one for DPS, one for healer, but I'll leave yellow for PvP, blue for just healing, and red for DPS. But guys, spoiler alert, we're probably not gonna be able to get ourselves a DPS build. Alright, so first one is going to be call to action. Gain motivation when you enter combat. If no refrains are active, automatically activate the refrain of chant of action. Chant of action being this one right here. Apply boons to all allies on an area around you, but it's going to be the refrain, so give might and fury. And it will begin with 4 motivation stacks. It'll give you 4 motivation stacks, so you'll start with 1 of fury and 2 of might. Maybe I'm crazy here, but that doesn't seem very strong. It's only when you enter combat. And chant of action isn't really that big of a deal. I don't know why you would pick this. But alright, maybe, I don't know. I'll, you know, we'll think about it. We'll keep it in mind. Calming Tongue. Gain increased healing power and concentration. Gain additional healing power and concentration when a refrain is active. Now, this sounds fun. Seems pretty cool. Hey, you want to have a chant, a refrain active at all times. Boom. Sounds like a very good healing trait right here. Concentration in PvE, super useful as well. Gonna be able to give more boons for longer. Sounds great. And the next one, Liberating Liaise? Whatever. Gain increased movement speed. Movement impaired conditions have reduced effectiveness on you. Now, this seems like the one you would pick for PvP. And more movement speed? Sounds good. Being not affected by chilled or cripple? Good. Well, it's just a reduced effectiveness, but still. Okay, that's pretty awesome. Okay, I like that. That you'll be a little bit more mobile. You won't care. You'll be a little bit like Sonic. Okay, you just move around and nothing can stop you. Sounds great. And especially for a healer that wants to support their allies, you want this. You want to be with your allies at all times. This will help you. Same thing. It'll help you in War vs. World. Let's go for your mid traits. Brisk pacing. Using a chant reduces the recharge of your other chants by a set amount. Now this sounds good. That sounds fun. You use a chant. Boom. The other ones get less time now, so you can use them whenever. Well, 2 seconds earlier. Sounds fun, interactive, changes the gameplay a little bit. I like it. Very good. Nice job. Invigorating tempo. Heal yourself and gain adrenaline for each point of motivation spent. This will help you with your adrenaline, which I bet is gonna be pretty lacking. You're gonna be needing a lot of adrenaline to be able to use your chants at all times to keep your motivation up. Sounds like a great idea. And of course, hey, you gain more healing too. Reverberation. Command echoes can trigger a second time. So this makes your utilities just happen twice. The echo part happens twice, which could be kind of crazy. We will never yield. You'll be able to make them invulnerable again. Well, not invulnerable, but immortal again and give a lot of barrier. This actually seems very powerful. You're gonna be able to also, whenever you use Brace Yourself, give more barrier for a second time. More healing we shall return as well. Oh, there you go. You couldn't see it. There it is. I guess it doesn't really make sense to do it on Will Never Yield. It'll do more barrier, I guess, but it's gonna happen instantly, I'm guessing, so it really doesn't matter if you can just make them not die again while it's happening at the same time. I don't really think any of them belong in one place or the other. I think every one of them could be useful in PvP, in PvE, in War vs. World. I think they can it just depends on the motivation, or it will depend on how everything ends up working with the amount of adrenaline you need. For example, Invigorating Tempo, I feel like you probably would want this in PvE, just because you're probably gonna be using motivation at all times, adrenaline at all times. But maybe that's not going to be the case. It's kind of hard to tell without actually playing the specs. So we'll just leave it with nothing for now. Oh god, and here we go. We're going to the Grandmaster traits. And this one's, guys, oh, you're already looking at it, guys. Feverish, Pulse, oh, grant wounds to allies when transitioning to a different refrain. Alacrity. Oh no. Now, why is this so bad? This is so bad because in PvE, you need this. You need to give alacrity. If not, you are useless as a healer. If you don't give quickness or alacrity, you are useless. There's no point. Don't even try. So you're forced to take this. And the only thing it does is that it gives alacrity. That's it. You can no longer pick these other two, which honestly look cool, because you have to take this. And also, it's not even interesting. Oh, wow. You go from a different refrain. So you're forced to choose in between chants. To just go through them at all times without really caring about the refrain or the ability, just in order to keep alacrity. This is horrible. Like, you're not going to be able to use this in a reactional manner. You're just going to have to use them normally because you need to keep alacrity up. This is horrible. I hate this. I don't even... This needs to be reworked, okay? Delete it, okay? Just, it's horrible. It's a horrible trait. It sucks. There's literally nothing good I can say about this one, guys. It's actually just trash. I don't know. I hate to say it, guys. I truly do. I really usually try to think about the silver lining. I'm like, oh, this is not... If you do that... I don't even know. Just start over, okay? I don't know. Just go again. I don't think... Even if you keep... You leave the alacrity from here, it still sucks. I just don't like it. Well, that's not quite true. So this actually works. So this in PvP and War vs. World will give you quickness. So in this case, I think it will be kind of nice because you can be like, oh, all right, I'm changing refrains in order to give you quickness. And maybe this will be beneficial for the quickness, but not beneficial for the chants and the refrains. Maybe this will be okay there. I don't know, maybe. I still don't not sure if I like it. But realistically, alacrity should be in the middle traits, whatever. Why not? Don't put in the Grandmaster. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And also, guys, it doesn't seem like this can be DPS. There's no traits for DPS at all. So if that's the case, I don't know. Just make it baseline. Make that you can give alacrity baseline. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I don't know. Like, and then gave the quickness from Warzone and PP in another trait, right? I don't know. Like, I don't know. This is just... Yeah, I don't like it. Next one. Strengthen stances. Refrains grant bonus effects to you while they're active. Now, this is a little bit of damage, right? Chant of action, 10% more, 20% more damage, 20% more condition damage, 20% lifesteal damage. That's kind of nice. Chant of recuperation, 20% incoming damage, 20% incoming condition damage, not less incoming condition damage, so you just take less condition damage. And chance of freedom, 50% of movement speed. This is pretty nice. This is pretty interesting. Gives you some cool effects. I like the 20% less damage, right, on the chant of recuperation. I like the movement speed buff. Now, it only applies to you, so I think this is going to be definitely like a very PvP oriented thing. I doubt you would take this in like War vs. World, for example, but you know, there you go. And then enduring refrain. Refrain's effect of chance are stronger. Now, this is probably what you would take in War vs. World. The motivation cost of restraints are reduced, but cannot be reduced below 1. So, you know, they will cost less to give these refrains, but you'll not be free. This trait does not affect healing gained from invigorating tempo. This is the minor trait we were talking about before, so don't worry about it. Chant of action, stacks of might gain increase per level. Chant of recuperation, healing increase per level. Chant of freedom, boon duration increase for each boon granted per level. Just a passive amount of more refrain power, right? It just gives you more, and it costs less. So in the end, it will make it so Chant of Action doesn't really get affected by the motivation cost. Chant of Recuperation, it'll go from 2 to 1, and Chant of Freedom, level 2 and 3 will get less, well, 1 less, so to 1 and then to 2. Not a horrible effect, I will say. Not super strong either, but you know, it seems like that's what it is with Paragon right here. But yeah, overall, these traits, guys, I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty bad. I don't really feel excited for any of these ones. They're like, okay, I guess you do a little bit more, but not too much, guys. I don't know. They really these might be the worst traits we've seen through these elite specs yet, guys. They're pretty bad, and I'm not even thinking about the alacrity one. Okay, this is just it's just boring. Okay, it's boring. It's not powerful. I don't know what to say. I'm also a little bit worried on how this is gonna work and in PvE. I feel like you're gonna pick the same abilities, the same traits that you would take in your quickness healer berserker, and because you look, it feels like you're gonna be needing a lot of adrenaline, so you're gonna be forced to all these traits right here, just like in the heal berserker build, right? And the utility is not even that good. So I don't know. I feel like you're gonna end up using the same one that you would pick in this other build. Is it like with this version? Like, are we in a situation when we literally we'll play heal berserker anyways? I don't know, guys. It feels a little bit cooked. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. It just feels a little bit cooked. We'll have to see. I think the important part, honestly, is that the part that is good about the spec is maybe not the boons, maybe not the traits, but it is the mechanics. The way that the class works is beautiful, it's great, it's fun. So the base is very, very good. The part that is hard to change is very, very good. Now that you have to put more stuff into it, more meat on the bones, guys, more boons, a better interaction with the traits, and then boom, you have it. But this definitely seems to be the least ready spec of all during this elite spec reveals. So yeah, I really hope they put a lot more to it. Otherwise, I don't think anyone's gonna be playing this, guys. I'm not gonna lie. But let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm being too harsh on this one. Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content like everybody here. Soydalian, Paragon, Trader Boys, Tilt, CX, Minimart, Body Double, Question Mark, Say, Noggin, J-Mongoose, and Mind Bowen. We got new technology here to see the supporters. Yeah! And thank you very much for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel. See you guys around. Love you all. Ciao, ciao.